6 people, including 2 young children, killed overnight.
Just awful.
And this massive barrage,
Mm.
missiles, drones, it wasn't just random hits. It struck right at the country's core infrastructure.
Right when those high-level peace talks, the ones everyone was sort of pinning hopes on, were, well, abandoned.
Exactly. It's just a devastating link, isn't it? Diplomatic failure, then immediate deadly escalation. People paying the price right now with their lives in the dark.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Military Point. Before we continue, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to know.
So today, our deep dive is really focused on that convergence. The violence, that attack on Wednesday, October 23rd, and the political void that, frankly, seemed to allow it.
Right.
We've got sources detailing the immediate cost, the human cost in Ukraine. But what we really need to unpack is how this attack connects directly to that breakdown in U.S.-Russian talks.
And the disagreements bubbling up among Ukraine's allies about, well, how to deal with Putin at all.
You say.
Okay, so let's start with the devastation itself, because the cost was just immediate, tragic.
Mm-hmm.
This Russian overnight barrage, it was intense. It hit Kyiv, the capital, areas near Zaporizhia too.
Key locations.
Yeah. 6 people confirmed dead, including those 2 children.
Yeah.
17 injured, mainly around Kyiv. And you, the listener, need to get that this wasn't like a minor incident. It was big, coordinated.
And the targets, I mean, that's where the strategy or maybe the message really comes through.
What are the sources saying there?
They confirm the strikes specifically hammered the country's energy infrastructure, power stations, distribution hubs.
That's a calculated move, isn't it? Especially now.
Oh, absolutely. And it sends a pretty brutal signal, diplomatically speaking.
And the consequence, I mean, we're heading deeper into the cold season. It's just immediate misery on the ground.
Yeah.
The energy ministry itself confirmed missile and drone attacks, forced emergency power outages.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking most regions of Ukraine.
Thousands and thousands of people suddenly without heat, without electricity. It's a huge test of resilience.
Imposed right when the political talks just cratered.
Exactly. It isn't just about degrading military capability anymore, is it? It feels like an attack on civilian morale, on the basic ability of society to function.
Yeah.
We saw those reports, emergency workers pulling people from strike sites, especially near Zaporizhia. It paints a really grim picture.
It's us.
Yeah. The goal seems to be making the cost of just continuing unbearable for ordinary people.
We should probably quickly mention the Russian counterclaim. Moscow said it intercepted, 33 Ukrainian drones?
Mm-hmm. That was their report. Claimed no substantial damage on their side.
Right. But the overwhelming evidence points to the main devastation being inside Ukraine.
Clearly.
Okay, now this is where the timing gets really critical. Why would Russia escalate like this huge infrastructure-smashing attack, just as those high-stakes U.S.-involved peace talks publicly collapsed?
It feels deliberate.
It feels like more than just escalation. It's like a direct, punitive message tied straight to the diplomatic failure, isn't it?
I think it absolutely functions as a signal. Remember, these strikes happened just one day after that planned meeting between Trump and Putin was canceled.
That was the big potential breakthrough everyone was watching.
Exactly, and it evaporated. So Russia's message here seems pretty loud and clear. If you won't talk or won't talk on terms we find acceptable, we will impose costs. We'll escalate on the battlefield.
And President Zelensky's reaction, that really underlines this, doesn't it? He made 2 key points.
Yeah, what did he say?
First, he said this attack proves Russia does not feel enough pressure for dragging out the war.
So he's saying the military action is basically a symptom, a sign that Russia isn't feeling enough heat externally.
Seems like it. And his second point, this is crucial for understanding the deadlock. He said, Russian words about diplomacy mean nothing as long as the Russian leadership does not feel critical problems.
Okay, critical problems. That's interesting phrasing. What do we think he means by that? Is he talking purely military setbacks, like actual defeats on the ground?
Or maybe something else.
Right. Or is it about, the economic pain, sanctions really biting, or maybe even internal political trouble for Putin? That's a big question for you, the listener, to consider. What kind of pressure is he actually demanding?
It definitely sounds like he's rejecting the whole idea that just sitting down at a table can work right now.
Mm-hmm. Views it as a delay tactic for Russia unless they're genuinely hurting.
So let's look closer at that canceled summit. Trump and Putin, because that's the immediate backdrop here.
Right. Initially, Trump sounded quite, positive about it. He was planning to meet Putin in Budapest, maybe within 2 weeks.
Called a previous phone call productive on ending the war.
Yeah, which, created a huge amount of buzz. Diplomatic anticipation was high.
And then, almost immediately, disappointment. He just shelved the plans.
Said he didn't want a wasted meeting.
Okay, but what does that mean? A wasted meeting in this context.
Well, I think it signals the political risk probably outweighed any perceived benefit.
How so?
A top-level U.S.-Russia meeting, if it achieves nothing concrete, it can end up giving Putin a kind of legitimacy without actually moving the needle on peace.
And potentially fracture the Western allies.
Potentially. So Trump pulling the plug suggests that whatever was said in that productive phone call didn't translate into Putin being ready to offer anything substantive, anything worth the political capital of the trip.
So no real give indicated from Moscow.
Apparently not enough to justify the meeting, so it was off.
And the moment that high-level diplomatic path vanished, the missiles started flying.
The escalation began, yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this happened while there was already sort of intense disagreement among Ukraine's own allies about the way forward, right?
Absolutely. Those fractures were already showing.
Which takes us from the immediate shock on the battlefield to the geopolitical fault lines.
Exactly. Because just days before these strikes, we had reports of significant U.S. pressure on Ukraine in private talks in Washington.
What kind of pressure?
A senior Ukrainian official confirmed that Trump apparently pushed Zelensky to consider conceding the eastern Donbas region. That was supposedly during talks at the White House just last Friday.
Wow. Asking Kyiv to just give up the Donbas. That's a huge ask.
It's a staggering suggestion to make to an ally fighting for its survival. It fundamentally changes what peace or even victory could mean.
But that wasn't the only idea floating around, was it? What were the Europeans saying?
And here you see that sharp contrast immediately. European allies reportedly rejected that idea, giving up territory as a starting point. No.
So what was their alternative?
Their proposal was that the fighting should instead be frozen along the current front lines.
Okay, so hold everything where it is now.
Essentially, yeah.
That's a really crucial difference in strategy, isn't it, between Ukraine's main backers?
It's fun.
You've got the U.S. potentially pushing for territory concessions, maybe for a faster, more definitive end, however painful.
Right.
And then you have Europe pushing for a freeze, which keeps Kyiv's claim to the land legally intact, but accepts, well, a long, drawn-out stalemate.
That's the dilemma. What are the strategic implications of that split? It's huge.
How so?
Well, the split itself risks weakening the whole coalition supporting Ukraine. And the options themselves, conceding territory, like the Donbas idea, that sets a terrible precedent globally, doesn't it? Aggression gets rewarded with land.
Plus demoralizing for Ukrainians who fought for that land.
Absolutely. But the European path, freezing the line, that carries massive costs, too.
Yeah, it's not exactly a solution, is it?
No. Freezing the line basically means institutionalizing the current military situation. You avoid legitimizing the land grab, which is good. But you likely guarantee a prolonged, costly, maybe low-intensity conflict, a huge armed border needing constant support. Think North and South Korea.
So it locks in the division, but doesn't bring real peace.
Exactly. And the fact that Ukraine's key allies are openly split on this fundamental issue, that signals a deep lack of unified strategy.
And Russia sees that.
Russia clearly sees that uncertainty. And they appear to be capitalizing on it by hitting harder, militarily, the second the top-level talks collapse.
So that policy split, that divergence, that's really the crisis behind the crisis right now.
I think so. Russia, in this moment, probably perceives weakness, or at least division, in the Western alliance, a lack of unified will.
And when Russia perceives weakness,
it strikes. And it strikes targets designed to maximize civilian pain to increase pressure.
It connects right back to Putin's original justification in 2022, doesn't it? The special military operation to demilitarize Ukraine, stop NATO.
And the horrific reality of that special operation today is measured in, well, dead children and power plants being systematically destroyed to try and force compliance.
So putting it all together, the picture for you, the listeners, pretty sobering. The direct military costs, the deaths, the injuries, the blackouts, they're now completely tangled up with this total collapse of high-level diplomacy.
And it's made worse by this deep disagreement among Ukraine's own supporters about what peace should even look like. Territory away? Or freeze the fighting?
Yeah, this deep dive really shows the path forward is just fraught. Escalating violence on one hand and profound division among the powers supposed to be helping find peace on the other.
It forces a really hard look at what actual leverage means now.
Right. So Think about President Zelensky's statement again.
Mm.
Russia needs to feel critical problems before diplomacy can work. And we know these strikes came right after that high-level summit was canceled. So if diplomacy is off the table for now, and if territorial compromise is rejected, what's the immediate next point of leverage? What can the world actually do?
That's the question, isn't it? If Moscow's only answer to failed talks is more violence, then the answer has to come from somewhere other than the negotiating table.
It's an uncomfortable thought. What else is left if talk fails and compromise is refused?
You're left with trying to make the cost of the war itself truly unbearable for the aggressor. That seems to be the hard truth emerging here.
You've been listening to The Military Point. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.